we talked about how maybe he should have gotten a red or maybe he shouldn't have. So this is like the second week in a row instantly, right, where he should have gotten a red card. He should have been sent off, but wasn't.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but now there's talking about a very similar incident, and
Alan Gordon.
Alan Gordon, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Doing basically the same thing. It's like, well, we didn't suspend Gonzalez last time. How can we justify suspending Gordon now?
Right.
But we kind of have to because the Gordon thing was kind of awful.
Yes, that's exactly it, and you're hitting it on the head. That the biggest rallying cry with refs is always consistency, and it's the exact same thing with the disciplinary committee. We saw inconsistency by not getting those retroactive suspensions, and they need to just step up and suspend Alan Gordon. They have to admit, whether they actually say it out loud or not. I think by suspending Alan Gordon, you admit that you were wrong the last time, but you set an incredibly dangerous precedent by not suspending him, by saying we're okay with elbows to the head, we're okay with letting these kind of plays go by,
which is
both
an
on
absolute
the field
message in
and
this
after
concussion
review.
era.
Absolutely. We have so many replays and angles, and for them to be able to look at any of the plays that we're talking about and not suspend it is just befuddling.
It's funny. It's like it's such a ridiculous situation that it's hilarious to me that they wouldn't be able to resolve it. Like what you're saying, with all the different camera angles, how can it not come to a conclusion? It's beyond me.
Yeah. I've seen some great short documentary pieces and little clips from the NHL where they have the war room in Toronto, and they've got guys looking at game footage live and making decisions from a league standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to get just a quick behind the peak, who is on the disciplinary committee and what are their qualifications and how many times are they looking at things and how much time do they dedicate every week to doing it, because it's shocking some of the decisions that come out.
And what are you hiding?
I hate to be a homer here, but the fact that Ka has escaped 2 weeks in a row dangerous red card deserving studs up tackles is just shocking to me. And it's the same thing with Giancarlo Gonzalez. Thank you. And end of rant.
Well, I mean, the latest one, I mean, the argument isn't that he was making a dangerous play, though. It's just that he was making a play that, is in the books as a red cardable play. So there might be a little bit of a difference to make. I know he did have the elbow the week before, but I think you do have to take context and previous behavior into account on some of those calls also. So consistency won't always just be, the play looked exactly the same on the field.
Absolutely.
This is going to be the verdict. I think there are a couple other things that come into play, but the fact that we don't really get to see any of that thought process might be the issue.
Right. Well, I mean, and then in the exact same game, you have Adam John being sent off for a red card. Does he get a single game suspension? Do they go back and add a game to it? I mean, there's no clear-cut lines about how the decisions are made or what the punishments should be.
What I'm hearing is what we want is transparency, and this is not the first time the issue of transparency has arisen in MLS. I mean, think of allocation money and the trades. You never know what's going on with allocation money in the league. Nobody knows. I mean, they're just
I'll go
numbers.
back to hockey. I'll give you another great example. Every single time the Hockey Disciplinary Committee makes a suspension call, and now obviously they've got a much longer season. They have 82 games. Sometimes they're handing out 3 games, 5 games, 7 games in extreme cases. And they put together a 5-minute video. The head of the disciplinary committee makes a 5-minute video involving gameplay where he sits down and says, okay, see how this happens? We're suspending him because of these 5 reasons. It's on purpose. There's a history. It's a dangerous play. The player doesn't move on the ice for 4 minutes, and it's completely transparent every time it happens.
Are you watching, Garber? Because we hope you are.
D-Garb always listens, guys. I think that's what we've...
That's why our view count or our listen count keeps going up.
You guys got to hear this. That's my Don Garber impression. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, so while we're talking about discipline, someone's got some Chivas red cards to talk about.
Oh,
I think that would be Pete, I believe, being the one of us who actually watched that game. I just thought the comment about how it should be an infrared was
That's
funny.
hilarious.
That's more than a red card. That card is infrared.
It's actually, and the comment that you linked to it above it is what gets that started. The comment itself is brilliant, which is just very lucky to have only seen a red there.
Yes.
Like the ref's got that secret infrared card in his pocket. We all know about it, you know.
Yeah.
No, that was 100% a red card. I'm great with it. It was also a valid PK, as much as my Rave Green brethren are not interested in hearing it. Ozzy Alonso, definitely tackles him on the edge of the box, and by the definition, that's a PK. I have no problem with that. They definitely. I do have a problem with celebrating PKs. I'm going to say that every fucking time. I hate it. It kills me.
Wait, why?
Because what are you celebrating? The least skilled goal possible. The goal that is successful like 85% of the time.
Closer to 3 points is what you're celebrating.
Yeah,
It's like, you know what it's like? It's like winning the lottery and then running on the streets and be like, yeah, I tried really hard and I did it. I finally got it. You know what I mean? It's like there's some kind of level of
PKs are legitimate goals, though. You get PKs when you have possession in the box, and that's why teams that. That's why PKs don't really decide much, because teams.
And all those players have missed PKs before, and they know like the shame.
Oh, I know all about missed PKs.
I do think. Here's one thing. I think if you get fouled, so we have like designated penalty kick takers. I think that's bullshit. I feel like if you get fouled in the box, like in basketball,
you're the guy, right?
Yeah.
So the guy who just got kicked in the leg should have to take the shot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Unless he's coming off. Yeah. I think that's.
That's a valid point Chris makes.
I'm fine with that.
I mean, but that's also down to the discretion of the team. The team can always be like, okay, you're the guy. I mean, a lot of people don't want to do it. I'm not thinking of anyone in particular, but Lavelle Palmer last year.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You watch that guy walk up, and he's like, I really, really, really don't want to do this.
No.
Like, I just don't want to do it. But yeah, a lot of people. A lot of people aren't comfortable doing it. A lot of people aren't comfortable doing it. So
I wanted to see Nielsen and Raimondo take.
I did too.
Everybody did.
More than anything, I wanted to see.
God damn it, Lavelle Palmer.
One more thing about the Chivas game. Obviously, I was happy Seattle continues their road success, even if it doesn't look perfect. They've looked sharp. Dempsey, no goals but 2 assists, including a crazy ninja assist. So we'll give him that one.
That was awesome.
But what I want to say is I think that Obafemi Martins has been denied 2 PKs 2 weeks in a row because of his habit of diving in the box. I think that he
that's
has.
his problem.
What's that?
That's his problem.
That's what I'm saying. I fully agree. I think that he has way too many dives in the box, or let's say embellishments, because they always come with contact. I've never actually seen him simulate contact, but the lightest contact sends him to the ground, and I think he's earned himself a reputation among refs, and because of it, we've lost out on 2 actual legitimate PKs, and that is frustrating for a player of his caliber.
I do want to backtrack.
I'm alone on that.
I guess. No, that's another one of the risks you run, when you are known for that kind of behavior. Just like I'm sure that San Jose doesn't get away with as much as they would if they weren't known for their style of play.
Yeah.
So I think, at some point the referees kind of are on to you.
Yeah, I'm certainly not defending him by any means, and I completely understand the reason that he's now been denied 2 weeks in a row, because they were both very legitimate opportunities, and it's just in those same games he went down 5 times that wasn't legitimate, and it's tough. It's frustrating to watch.
We know referee reputation is a real thing, because Clint Irwin came out with that piece in SI a couple weeks ago about how referees legitimately say to players well, he does the same shit every week. That's why I'm booking him, and Clint Irwin railed against that. But I don't actually think I have a problem with that, because that's if that's going to be a long-term deterrent of what of diving in the box or whatever, then so be it.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
I do want to backtrack real quick and talk a little bit more about Columbus, because that's what I love to do most in Miller. I have 2 less negative points to bring up regarding that. The last few matches, actually. The first one is a quick one. It's just that Will Trapp looks 14 years old, and plays like he's 30 years old. If you guys haven't been paying attention to him, I think he's a solid in terms of the under 21 players. I think he's as good as it gets. So he's definitely something to look forward to in the U.S. men's national team future.
He won Matt Doyle's Pass of the Week this last week, so that's nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, and he's just been so between him and Higuain in the midfield. Both it's when either of them have the ball at their feet, I'm just completely at ease. And then of course when anybody else has the ball at their feet, I'm in complete panic mode. But they both make such good decisions, so good in possession, and we saw with that game-winning pass there near the end, he won that ball at the same time. So even on defense, he's been just amazing, especially for how young he is to be able to play both ways so well. So everybody should pay attention to him. That's thing one. And thing two is Columbus is really good at passing the ball around left to right on the field and terrible at doing anything with it after they do so. I've noticed this in the past maybe 3 or 4 games. Our possession looks beautiful, but then when you look a little closer, we're not really doing anything with it.
Well, it's because you guys' biggest offensive weapon is like sort of a center mid, right? In Higuain.
Yeah, I would put him more in an attacking mid, but yeah, I think it might be a lack of power at the striker position, but we just see the ball, we get it out on the wing, we pass it back into the middle, we get it out on the other wing, and we just kind of pass it around until it gets taken away. And
So
it looks great.
What needs to happen in the final third to change that?
I think there just needs to be, I think part of it, I know when we were playing Toronto, they just
Do you guys
dropped
need Eddie Johnson too?
What was that?
Do you guys need Eddie Johnson too?
Everybody needs Eddie.
We need like a real target man, maybe someone because I know against Toronto, we were trying to kick crosses into the box the whole time, and we don't have anybody that can hit a ball home with any, except for on defense, but they're not up there at that point. I think we just need. I know Toronto did it a lot. DC did it a little bit, where they're just dropping most of their team back because they know that Columbus is going to try to probe around.
Well, that's how we play. We play ugly. We play everybody behind the ball except for Eddie, and that's how it worked against New England, and it worked against New York, and almost worked against y'all.
And like that's what has beaten us both in both of those games was when there's that many people drop back, our style of play just isn't working because we're not getting it through, not getting it forward. So I think if any MLS
just wait until you play a team like just wait until you play a team like New York who doesn't do that, and then you guys will score like 3 goals. It'll be fine.
There we go. And then the other thing is we get killed on that counterattack when we give up the ball in the midfield because our left back and our right back are all the way upfield. So DC had two easy goal scoring chances there. The one you guys were just unlucky on trying to remember who it was.
Espindola, probably.
Yeah, Spindola was right over top of the ball alone in the box and kind of overran it a little bit.
I feel like you're talking about Portland almost. That sounds really, 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 really familiar. Like really familiar. like a lot of possession, kind of right in the midfield, and then it sort of peters out, and you're like, oh shit, who's at home? Oh, Cobb. Well, I'm sure he's going to do something balls out crazy.
Our possession's even in the final third. That's what's so frustrating about it, is that we just keep the ball right around the 20-yard box, and it's bad news.
I mean, that's the thing, is I think everybody, so many people watched Barcelona, and they're like, we're going to do that. And what a lot of people are discovering is that without Leo Messi and Xavi and Iniesta, you're not going to do that. There's a reason. There's a reason that lots of teams.
Magic the ball through an entire defense.
Yeah, there's a reason why. Yeah, there's a reason why lots and lots and lots of teams. The vast majority of teams are like, look, let's get somebody who's like 6'2", and put them up there, or let's get somebody who's real fast and put the ball so they can run through on it. I mean, all this like beautiful, intricate pass work to unlock a defense. While they're all like huddled in the goal box, I mean, it's going to work for some people. It doesn't. It barely even works for them anymore. I mean, they're all also kind of jaded. But it's, I mean, no, they've been the same team.
Psychological thing at this point.
Yeah, they're just like, I'm so tired of winning.
Old, right? Iniesta and Xavi are like 35. I thought.
Xavi's old. Iniesta's still like 32, 33. But anyways, it's something that you see teams that are a little bit more direct.
Well, I know they're old because they're getting rumored to MLS. So.
You see teams that are a little more direct. I mean, the thing is, you can really pick the ball around if you've got an aerial threat. Then everybody always has to adjust to the location of that aerial threat. But MLS teams, we, by necessity, because of the salary cap, they're always going to be kind of incomplete, unbalanced teams. I was having a weird discussion with an RSL fan who was like, we are a complete team. I was like, no MLS team is a complete team.
Right.
There's no such thing.
It's a fallacy.
RSL's the closest.
RSL probably is the closest, but they didn't win anything last year.
I would say SKC is a pretty close to a complete team.
They
don't have much depth.
They don't have much depth, and they don't have much of an attack.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't watch the game, but.
I feel like the problem with that kind of approach is that you lack spacing. So we were talking about how, in leagues like La Liga for Barcelona, someone can hit the ball in from 30 yards out.
Right.
That is really rare in MLS. There are a couple of guys who might be able to do that. Zusi, not really. Beckerman can actually unleash some pretty wicked shots from the midfield, and that's really RSL has from there. I know Higuain can do it.
But he's always shut down as soon as he gets the ball at his feet. So
exactly. It's because
because everybody knows that he's the guy on the field that can do it.
There's a little guy. What's Chara? Chara, I think, is that right?
Yeah. Okay, but here's the thing about Chara. He has scored 2 goals in 3 years.
I know.
So like
that's
he did that, and you're like, that's amazing. What next? I mean, I woke up. I didn't get to see that game because it was on at 3 in the morning where I was, so I was asleep. But I watched the highlights and I was just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this is
fucking casual, asleep at 3 a.m. God.